So after Kingston, because I was a SIG as well. So what did you end up doing after you ended up getting qualified?
Great. Well, I was in Kingston. I was in when I was at the Signals Regiment. I was there for 4 years, and a strange twist. A lot of us from the regiment and in Kingston and area, they posted us to Nova Scotia. So I ended up in CFB Shearwater or CFS Shearwater, and working in the tower down there in the tower
Okay.
communications room, we had a message center there. So I wasn't actually doing anything like with planes or anything. It was just the message center we had there. I was the only one who went to Shearwater. I had friends who went to the Burt. It was a really weird situation. So, but it was great. So I was like, I loved living in Nova Scotia, and I was able to on a weekend just go home. Get the boat,
Nice.
get across Newfoundland. It was great. Did it do much for my career professionally? No, it didn't. But it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun down there. Met some great people. I had an aunt and uncle who lived in in Dartmouth, and so I was able to reconnect with them, a bit. So that was good. And then 2 years after that, this was '94, I got posted back to the regiment, which I was pretty much spent my whole career there. It was the year in '94. Everybody had gone to Rwanda from the Signals Regiment,
Right.
and so they posted all of us back. We became this huge rear party for all the guys and girls over in Rwanda, and so we were doing supporting families and all that stuff. And I have to say that was probably one of the best years I think I spent in the military, because we were a very small unit supporting everybody overseas, and it was maybe 50, 60 of us signals guys, and
Okay.
we came together as a group. Everybody got on. We all knew each other from before,
Right.
and it was fun. I know the guys were over in Rwanda. They were going through all their challenges and stuff that it's been very well documented. But for us back here, supporting their families and stuff, it was, I hate to say it like that, but we had a blast, and we had good times, and it was a really good year for us. And then afterwards, of course, everybody came back, and we started hearing all their stories and
Yeah.
all that, and then you start feeling, man, you felt bad, but at the same time, you felt well, we're kind of lucky, so
Right.
that, we weren't over there with them, right? But and then a few years passed, and then I'm still working in Kingston, still working in what we called LTACs. I don't know if you're a signaler yourself. I don't know if you ever worked with that system.
No.
It was it's we used to call it Bell Canada on wheels. Basically, it was like a big system where we would set up these big antennas, and it was like a big phone network, and so we were spread out.
Right.
And I
Right.
enjoyed doing that. I really enjoyed setting up those antennas and working with for a short time LRCT. I did the course there, setting up. I don't know what it was about setting up those big antennas. It was really cool job to have, which eventually led me into satellite comms, the 79 comm regiment. So, and I really enjoyed a couple of tours I had with them. But I eventually started. The one thing I think that was very interesting was the year after Rwanda. We tried to go back in. I don't know if you remember that or not. And we ended up in a bunch of us went over on very short notice, and we ended up in Uganda, and we stayed in Africa. We stayed in Uganda for about, I think, 5 or 6 weeks. It's something like that. Very strange. It was a very strange situation. We basically sat in Uganda, in Kampala, and waited, basically.
Okay.
And they eventually the Rwandan country, or the government, decided not to let us in, so we ended up coming home. So it was a very surreal experience, out of that. We started calling it the unwanted paid vacation, because we just sort of sat there in a hotel for 5 or 6 weeks. We, trying to do some sort of meaningful shift work just to sort of occupy us. And
That would be frustrating. Yeah.
it was, yeah, and it was frustrating for our families, because they didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what was happening, and so eventually they got us home, which was great. But I think the most interesting thing about being on tour was I went to East Timor with
Okay.
the Van Dews, and the funny thing about that was that by the time we got there, it was the Australians and the New Zealanders, Kiwis. They pretty much had the situation sorted out, and we were there to sort of support them, in some sort of deal that we had. And the Canadians, we decided we were going to have a beach landing, and I think it was described at the time as the first beach landing since Normandy.
Oh
So
goodness.
we got off the boat, we're on these little dinghies, whatever, and they're bringing us in. And at the 20th anniversary of that tour, I went on McLean's website and I was trying to find pictures of us hitting the beaches,
Right.
right? And they've got some wonderful pictures of the Van Dews, jumping off the boats, rifles in the air, looking cool, looking tough. Got some great pictures of them. They didn't have any pictures of all of us support guys, running the comms,
Right.
dragging our butts up the beach with all these big, MRSAT,
Oh goodness.
cases and everything, and trying to bring them up. No pictures of that at all. We're probably like digging trenches up the beach with all the heavy equipment we were dragging, right? So, and only to get up to the end of the beach, we just sort of stopped and said, "Okay, now what?" And there was a Aussie over there by a truck. Said, "Hey, mates, get in the truck. Let's go." I said, "Okay."